Okay. What's up? I haven't done one of these in a while. And I feel like it's about time I do one of these YouTube videos. Because after doing Night Abyss, I feel like I've lost a lot of purpose in games because I was so happy about that game. But then Arc Raiders came out, so this is just gonna be the Arc Raiders rant. If you want to see, this right here is all that I'm gonna talk about. So I'll kind of just slowly go through it. Um, but I'll freeball off the rip because I have a little bit of things I want to talk about first. But I think like that this game, it's so good. I think in terms of like a PvP game, like a game where like you're actually are like semi, because it's not competitive, but you like have like a lot of player versus player. I think it's just such a great game because I think the biggest thing is in terms of like games like Valorant and stuff. Even this game still has it, but there's still a lot of displacement of blame in this game, especially when you do fills. I'm big on fills. I don't like solos. I don't like the Among Us lobbies. I don't like the fact of how spawns are in solos and how if you shoot once in solo, you're playing wave defense. So that's something there. But for me personally, I'm big on fills. I've always been big on fills in these types of games. And I think it's just nice. I think I kind of suck because I kind of hit the Tinder point of fills where it's like, yeah, I'm kind of tired of hi, hello, what's going on, how's your days? I'm kind of tired of the small talk every time you play with people. But I still think it's a great thing, right? For a lot of people. And like this game has been a game where like unlike any other game, I feel like it builds a lot of friendships because of like the looting aspect of it. Right, but it also builds like the most toxic friendships too. But like a lot of times you're able to re-queue with people and play again and stuff, and it's really nice. But also when that free kid on your team dies, he's the most toxic thing in the world. You let me die, and it's like, yeah, you ran into 5 people events. I'm chilling, but I think it's like a necessary evil in the game. But yeah, there's not that displacement of thing because it's not like if you die in this game, even in a squad fill, it's still like 80% your fault, I feel. And so there's not much displacement of blame in this game. Even though people like to say, oh, I get free kits all the time and I lose them. I mean, free kit fills and stuff, right? And it's like, I've never played a game recently where I've had to fill, where I've like had to go free loadout ever since the game started. I completed the expedition after a week of playing. I started a week before the expedition, so it's not even bad there. I think it's such a great thing. The game is like so solid and all this stuff is super nice. And I hope this game continues. So now I'm going to talk about the bad part. Yes, I do enjoy this game, and this game will probably be the game I stream. But the games I put on YouTube will probably be different. I don't know, maybe I'll put highlights here, or like a good match or something, but I don't think I'm gonna probably do it Night Abyss where I just talk. Maybe if there's like talking points or something, but I don't know. But I love this game, so yeah. We'll probably do some Arknights on here or something. Anyway, let's talk about some of my talking points here. Yeah, like I said before, I think the game is great. It has replayability. I think one of the funnest things about this game, there was this game, I forgot what it's called. It was like a fake GTA game. I can't ABP Reloaded, that's what it was called. This game's combat reminds me a lot of that combat. And to be completely fair, that was one of my favorite games. It's just the game had no one. And the game kind of felt pointless. But that game had some of the best like PvP ever. Oh my god, it was so fun. So yeah, I think that is amazing. Now, let's go on to this, right? I feel like this game has really questionably competent devs. Okay, the trigger grenade nerfs took a long ass time. There's so many things that took forever. Like I'm talking about forever to go through. I don't know why, but like especially the trigger grenade nerf, it it's like it wasn't even a real nerf because it was a numbers nerf, and they're like, yo, we're taking forever to do this, and it's a numbers nerf. And maybe they just didn't have blast radius coded into the game, because that's what it probably seemed like. And so maybe they needed a code in blast radius or whatever, so that you had like damage fall off the grenade meters. But the only thing they did was fuse and they made a radius, which, to be fair, I think fixes the biggest part about them. Okay. And before I even talk about that, right, they set up a schedule. So I think regardless of what people say about these devs, as long as we know every Tuesday these devs are putting out an update, and even with the fire rate change, they said, yo, that fire rate change was accidental. We'll never make a ghost patch intentionally. I think it's a great thing to hear from devs, especially after playing like from devs by like Dead by Daylight and stuff. These devs actually stepped up to the ball. I always talk about this, but I think developers should be a lot like the Marvel Rivals devs, where they talk about a lot of stuff and they talk about their plans and stuff. And even though they're not there yet, these devs have definitely stepped up their forms of communication, which I think is a great sign for any game. And I think that's very important in every game, regardless of what people say. So yeah, like I said, the trigger grenade. I think trigger grenades are needed. I actually think the biggest thing about trigger grenades is their craft. I don't think it's anything else. I think the biggest thing about them is that even if these got changed, right? Let's say next thing was explosive grenades, heavy explosive grenades, were just crude and canisters. You would just grab canisters and then you'd make them. The biggest problem is that every other grenade requires freaking, what's it called? They just require explosive compound. If they make explosive compound easier to craft or easier to obtain or something, there would be a grenade meta change. Because here's the thing. Trigger grenades have two things. Chemicals. Chemicals are one of the most important materials in the game. They're stims, they're ammo, and they're grenades. Okay? All very important stuff. Okay? And what is there? Sims grenades and processors are your augments, which you need every single raid, and their triggers, right? Their augments are triggers, and I don't think they're anything else. But those are two very easily accessible and important crafting lines, so it's easy for you to justify having that. And also, processors stack up to 5. And you need 3 to craft an augment. So you're gonna need like 80 processors in your stash at all times. So it's just very easy to get a lot of trigger grenades, because a processor is like, yes, this is taking my slot. I can sack 5 of these in a raid, and it's infinite value. So if you leave a raid on average, 80% of the time, you could leave a raid with 5 processors if you actually know where to loot. So that crafting tree is actually the most important thing. I'm telling you, if they change heavy explosive grenades to crude explosives instead of explosive compounds, we would see way more explosive grenades. Because the thing is, then canisters share a crafting line, because heavy smoke grenades, the big smoke grenades, not the small ones, are canisters and chemicals. If heavy explosive grenades were canisters and crude, you would see them all over the place, and no one would, like, people would not be complaining about triggers. They'd be complaining about heavy explosive grenades. So if you want to make a change to reduce trigger grenades, you make heavy explosive grenades easier to craft, and then in turn smokes become easier to craft as well. And then that crafting line becomes more accessible, because right now a lot of people don't craft smokes because there's no reason to just bring canisters and put them in your stash. So those lines of crafting are very, very, like, they're actually what decide the meta in this game, believe it or not. Because especially what a lot of things dismantle into in Raid, a lot of people don't dismantle stuff in Raid, and they don't care about materials. I'll get into that later, but that's something to just keep in the back of your mind. You don't see anyone, no one crafts stims mid-raid. You go into lobby, yeah, man, you got plastic and chemicals, you craft stims. Yo, I can't push this guy. Yo, dude, you got chemicals? I'll craft some light grenades and I'll blow a guy off a corner. Those are things I've done in free kits, but no one does that. No one makes use of the crafting. So, yeah, but they're needed because utility is very important in this game. It stops people from pushing you. Defibs are insanely broken. With like a 2-second revive time, you could slide into it too. So it's like basically like a 1 second like stun lock, and it's instant 50. So that guy comes up, he slides, he shields while sliding, and then he's basically able to fight again. So that, like, it's just utility is really strong in this game, and you have to finish people. If you don't finish people and thirst people, you're not gonna have a good time. So that's my whole rant on like trigger grenades and utility. But yeah, if utility in this game wasn't strong, this game is a third-person game, and as much as people like to say, you literally lose if you run at someone. Unless they have a bugged wall or bugged interaction, if you're running at someone and they're holding a third angle, third person, you're dead. You're dead. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is this game is a PvE game. That's what the dev said. But they're making this game a lot more PvP focused, and it's really weird. And I don't think they understand that. So let me explain this. The first thing is obviously the solo squads is just like, it's so brain dead, it's insane. I like it as a matchmaking option, right? But in my opinion, it's a good way to combat the annoying waves of players. So like, a single person takes up the spawn of a squad, which is good or bad. It depends. But the reason why it's good or bad is because like it could just be bad because it removes a loot pool. If you're killing everyone and they're all free kids, it just removes a player from the game. It sucks. But in reality, a solo player can't do anything but third party. And it's like, it adds a little bit of fear in the game, where it's kind of cool because it's like, you don't know if that solo person is a solo or a team of 3 from a squad perspective. But then it's also like the worst feeling ever because you kill a solo free kit that could have been a team of Vens or something. So, in my opinion, solo squads is just a bad design. And it's like, the guy isn't going to kill your whole team. He's just going to get aped by you guys. And then you guys are going to fight over who got the kill and all that stuff 80% of the time. Or half the time, who knows. It depends on who you're playing with and stuff. But like, let's say you solo kill that guy, you're healing up, and then your Phil just takes the body that you literally killed by yourself. It's like the most frustrating thing ever. That happens. You want tech, just bring in jolt grenades, jolt mines, and then jolt them off the body. That's tech if you want to know. But yeah. Or you could fire burner the body. Like, I have a video where I literally got grief by fire grenades. It was insane. I think those should get changed. I don't know why those do damage to your teammates. But yeah. But I understand it because solo lobbies are very annoying and they're kind of emotional because you kill a guy and it's like, oh, I'm a nice guy. And it's like, you feel so bad. I don't think that should be a thing. I really don't. It feels really bad doing stuff like that. And like solos are kind of actually worse than solo squads because in solos you can't loot anything. But if you queue into a solo squads, a lot of times people are pushing admin. You'll go into a squad fill or something. You could literally rush Ruby Apartments in Dam and leave with like 100k worth of loot if you're like really good at looting. So it's like, it's just solo, like looting in solos is so bad because there are so many people that some people actually want to loot and some people don't. Whereas in squads, no one really wants to loot and they just want to loot players. And so it's really bad. Right. Speaking about spawns, duos are way worse. If you shoot one team in duos, you have to expect 3 to 4 teams. About 6 players or something. I've played so many games where you shoot one team and then there are like 8 other teams. So it's really, really bad with the third parties in this game. Stims, like, as much as I dislike the stamina system a lot of the times, like with stims and stuff and everyone using stims, it's like, I don't know, man. I literally don't know. It's so weird because people are able to get around maps so fast and like based off of spawns. You can tell where a lot of people spawn. So if you actually know spawns in this game, you can just rush a spawn. And it kind of becomes like Tarkov where hey, I spawned power generator. Let me rush to the raider outpost down on the corner of the map, and then I could kill the team there, and then I'll have a free peace of mind to loot generator or whatever. But it depends. They have the option to go admin or something. It's not like true Tarkov, but it's kind of almost like Tarkov. But you get a lot of information based off your spawn and stuff. So having a late spawn, or even like the 3-minute spawn, is one of the worst. Because a 3-minute spawn means that there could be a team on you. And a late spawn means that you don't know if stuff is looted. And I don't think that's that great, but it is what it is. I don't dislike it. I don't hate it. Well, I do dislike it, but I think it adds enough to the game. Whereas if every single like player that spawned in late was a free kit, you would just immediately extract after killing a couple of teams. So yeah. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the PvE game part 2, basically. It's like, why are there no lootables? There's so many times you go into places and there are no cabinets. If you've ever been at Grandiose Apartments, there are times when you could have a whole building that's like there are no cabinets in there, right? A lot of the time, right, there will be one floor without any loot. And when I started this game, like there were a lot of lootables. I don't know if they nerfed it, but I really think they should just buff cabinets. Even if like the cabinets just had raw materials, I would rather cabinets with raw materials than no cabinets on a floor. You know? So I really just think they should double the amount of openable things. Because especially on Dam or like Buried City, there's just nothing. And those are like my 2 favorite maps, honestly. I don't really like Bluegate that much. I think Bluegate's a good map, but I don't really like it. Spaceport, I kind of hate Spaceport. I just always die. Everyone camps the building and rends. The spawns on Bluegate are the worst because everyone spawns outside of the thing. So it's mainly in duos. I'd say in squads, it's not as bad. In trios, and this is the biggest thing about spawning. In duos, if you are pushing the wall off rip and you do not get the corner spawn or the spawn next to departure, big red. So yeah, if you don't get the spawn next to what is it? Is it called container yard or something? And the spawn next to shipping, next to departure, you're just like you have to run through a middle of a field where a team could have had a slightly better spawn, got up to the thing, and then they camp you out because they go for the security breaches or they just sit up there. People are weird and they just sit on top of those little sniper towers on the edge of the walls, and it's the most annoying map ever. I hate how that map's designed. I think maybe they should just put more nonsense in the middle, more rocks or something, just so you can actually rotate in if that's the case. Yeah, I don't know. They need to fix the terrain on that map. Besides that, it's pretty well designed, but that little like congestion over there it's horrible. Because it makes the duos problem that's in Dam about 40 times worse. Literally 40 times worse. Yeah. So I don't care about the amount of loot in them. I don't care about the quality of loot. I'm gonna go somewhere. I want to feel like it's worth it. And that's the reason why you have so much PvP and so much annoyance in the game. It's obviously because everyone has everything they need. So the only thing for them to do is PvP. But it still sucks. It still sucks. The next thing I dislike is the 30% durability drop. That 30% durability drop on death, in my opinion, should be 10. After you kill a guy, half the time his gun will be broken. It should really be 10% because you lose like 33% durability when someone dies. And then even like giving your friend his gun back is like the worst feeling ever. It's just like, nah, man, I'll just dismantle your gun. No. It's the worst thing ever. And half the time you leave a raid, all the guns in your inventory are broken. When you get to like the point of the game where I'm at, maybe I'll talk about the stages of the game. So I'd say they're about like 4 stages of the game, give or take. The biggest thing is there's one stage of the game where you're looting, right? All you're doing is just looting stuff. You don't know what to loot. You grab everything. You're probably running free kits. I don't really think you should, but you know, if you want to, you run free kits because it's kind of the best time to. Then after that, you probably got your looting mark 2, and now you kind of have an objective. You have access to blue shields and stuff if you want them. You're building up your money. Then you get to like 500k, and you've finally gotten a whole bunch of mats that you can craft, and you finally got the survivor blueprint. And then once you get the survivor blueprint, you're just crafting trigger grenades, and you're crafting blue shield, and you're doing that. And then you get to the point where I'd say I'm at, where once you have that survivor blueprint, you have, yeah, it's literally okay. So there's nothing, right? And then there's that point where you get to buy stuff from the shop. And then the survivor blueprint. Those are like your breakpoints. Okay. Nothing, you're just looting everything. You're trying to get money, whatever. Looting MK2, you're just looting stuff, and then eventually you're that's when your gear benches are leveled up a lot of the time. You have looting MK2, you're looting everything, you're getting mats, and maybe you, if you know what the important craftables are, you're spamming materials and stuff so you could craft stuff when you get access to survivor. And then there's part 3 where you get survivor, and then after survivor it's processors, mechanical processor, mechanicals, chemicals, crude, durable cloths, circuitry, wires, duct tape, batteries, and then everything else is kind of whatever. As long as you keep getting those every raid, you'll literally sustain yourself, and you'll make infinite. You won't make infinite money, and that's the biggest thing. And so then it ruins stage 4 of the game, which is I need to make my 5 mil, and now I need to start selling stuff. But every time I get a gun, it's broken and pointless. And so instead of selling the gun, I'd rather recycle the gun because it's more worth it that way. And it would just fix that point in the game, in my opinion. Because especially right now, I'm almost to that point where every single vet in my inventory is fully decked out. Every single bobcat in my inventory is fully decked out. Every single stitcher in my inventory is full out. I have 60 something guns. I don't need another gun in my inventory. I need to start dying. So it's a really bad thing. And if that 10% durability thing is, even when you kill another guy and it goes in a 20%, it would literally just make the game feel so much better. Maybe you could just do it for guns. Maybe you keep the same for augments so that people still have to craft augments. But I don't know too much about that. But that 30% is painful. So I'd say that. And I feel like, is this my last thing? Or yeah, I think this is my last thing. No, it's my second to last thing. But yeah. The next thing is the stash should just have double stackables for stacking items. I think whatever it is in game, it should be double in the stash. Because it would just make the game feel so much better. And it'd make inventory spots in your stash feel better. And maybe people would grab more stuff than just grab guns. I don't know, but having to like refine stuff, and then you refine stuff, and then you have to craft your guns and stuff to try to make spaces. It's actually the most annoying thing in the game. So if like, especially when you start getting your chicken up, and then you're just not grabbing stuff from your chicken for like 4 raids, you come back, you get the 50, and then you go back, you get some more and more. After like a 2-hour session, you have so many, like you have like 4 stacks of like cloth and everything. It just becomes too much. So I think it should just have double stackables. And then the last thing, this one's gonna be a hot take, but I just believe free kits should not spawn with a shield. And then you just make the free kit augment able to equip any shield. I think that's way more enjoyable. I think it allows a little bit more versatility. They already have a weight disadvantage, so it doesn't even matter. And they have such an insane slot disadvantage. Even if they kill 4 teams, there's no point. So it would just make it so that if you killed a free kit, it would just be like a free kill if the free kit's dumb. And I think that's how it should be. I don't like it when a free kit full pushes you with a Stitcher and he basically trades half your HP with a kettle, with anything. They full push you. They don't play LOS, they just run at you. And then you're cracked, and then you get pushed by the real team with trigger grenades. I don't like that. I think it should be a constant decision. I said this before. I play fills, and the biggest thing is I hate the fill free kits. Every single game you spawn into Dam, let's go admin. Let's go admin. And it's like every single time. You could have a dome spawn, and they want to go admin. You could have the best testing NX spawn, and they want to go admin. And personally, at me, I'm at the point of the game where I have like 24 Venators. I don't need another Venator. I'd rather have a stack of herbals. I'd rather be picking grass in the forest. And it sucks. It really does suck. I grab simple gun parts. I do all this stuff. Right? I feel like they should just make a craft, or they should move the crafting to the first part of survival so everyone's just forced to grab it. And then you make the crafting, you make it so people can craft green shield. And maybe you can. If people could craft green shield, it would make it so that a free kit would be like, let me just kill 2 arc and then grab an arc alloy and then a power cell and then make a green shield or something. And that way, they have to do something. One, it gives them risk because they have to kill an arc, which they're shooting, and then it makes them engage with PvE. And 2, it allows you to know where they're at. And 3, if they don't and they full ape you, you literally just free kill them. It's not that shield is strong or anything, it's just that a free kit shouldn't... I don't think a free kit should have armor. It's just like Tarkov, like you don't need armor in this game. And the reason why scavs, like, especially with how balanced armor is, even having a light shield, it would mean that someone would have to come in with a gun and stuff. And it would kind of give them that, like, movie theater popcorn effect, where it's like, okay, I come in with absolutely nothing, or I bring in something. And then it's to that point where it's like, okay, if I come in with a green combat augment and a green shield, why would I come in with a Stitcher 1 when I could at least put some attachments on it or something? And then if they had that 10% durability change, even if they came with that, that gun would be worth like 4 or 5k. And so it would just feel better killing them. So that's my rant on Arc Raiders. That's my whole thing. It actually perfectly ended up with the end of this raid. So yeah. I don't know if I'll post more. Maybe I'll post like full raids or something. Maybe I'll do something. I'll definitely put an Arc Knights rant like tomorrow or the day after. Yeah, see you guys. Bye bye.